Hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. Alex has just picked the perfect timing to realise he's a bit parched, so he's gone to get a drink. But we are live on YouTube, Twitter, and we're now live on Instagram as well. So good evening, everyone. Super excited to be doing some product research with you guys. It's been a few weeks, hasn't it, Al?
What's couple of weeks?
Life got in the way.
2-3 weeks.
Yeah, it's too long. We missed you guys. So today, we're going to be doing some product research with Helium 10. And we encourage you, as always, if you want us to look at a certain niche, maybe, if you've got any questions, comments, whatever, about good old Amazon FBA, just let us know in the comments. And, this is as live as you can be. So make sure you benefit from that. So we're going to be doing 45 minutes to an hour, and then we've got our members event. We're going to be doing a live event with Honest FBA members only. So for those of you watching that are in Honest FBA as well, you're in for an absolute treat. We've got a session on how to get other people to do product research for you, which is going to be a lot of fun.
Pardon me, that water is gassy. Sorry. Bloody hell.
Cool. So let's just give a moment for a few more people to filter in. We're also on Twitter X. There we go. My man, Tony.
Hey, Tony.
Saying hello, you legends. Thanks for the Noah Kagan book. Absolutely no problem. Holy Viral wants us to go through PPC. We might have to save that for another session because this one's going to be on product research. We'll definitely mention PPC for sure.
We just did a masterclass as well on PPC, Holy Viral. I don't know if you were there, but we did a masterclass last week on how to launch page 1 with Amazon PPC.
And that session was absolutely epic. It was about 90 minutes, and I think we even learned a ton of stuff, having done PPC for 5-6 years now. So if you haven't checked that out yet, please do. It's we've got the replay that's been uploaded. And if you're an Honest FBA member, that's in the members zone. So Al, did you want to share your screen? Just make sure you clear all those tabs that you've had open earlier today, those dodgy ones.
Yeah, I'm actually going to show you guys our results for the last 30 days. Where is it? Share screen. Window.
I'm really liking this, by the way. Guntar's is also called as Legends. I think, is that going to be our new nickname? The Legends. The Legends of FBA. Awesome. So, here's the results from Scale Insights. So it gives you the profit as well.
Yeah. Oh, that's your doorbell, isn't it? Recognize that, nice.
Yeah.
So we've not shown our results for a while. We've not really talked about the brand. We've been busy building stuff, to be honest. 2023, we did about 1.4 million in revenue. We were aiming to do about 2 million. If you've watched one of my recent videos where I talked about our plan to get to 8 figures, I dove into it a bit there, into the plans of what we're going to be doing with the brand. We're going to be launching some more consumable stuff. We launched our first consumable product about a month ago, and that's been killing it. It's been doing really, really well. So you can see, yesterday we did just over $4,000 in sales, just under $1,000 in profit. Yesterday, I pretty much played with my dog all day, so I didn't really do very much. When people say, Amazon FBA is passive income, I mean, once you've worked on it for a while and once you get the business up and running, it is pretty passive initially. Obviously, you need to put in that work, don't you, Jan? But
absolutely, yeah.
I mean, how many hours a week do you spend on your business now? Not that many, really.
Yeah,
no?
minimal, like 2 or 3. I think once you get to a certain amount of profit, you can then start hiring the people to do the more time-intensive tasks. The main one's PPC. So you, for example, Al, you're not sat changing the bids and things, are you? You've hired somebody that is able to boost your results even more. But what I think is also really interesting about your results there is that ROI figure. I think there's a lot of confusion sometimes, or like a misunderstanding between ROI and margin. Like when people say, what profit margin you on, and you say 20-30%, they go, that's crap. I can get 70%, 80% with Bitcoin. But it's the ROI figure actually that is the one you want to be looking at. So basically, Alex is getting, for each $100 he's putting into his business, he's getting $101 back in addition to his own $100. So he's getting $201 basically for each 100 that he puts in, which is amazing. So you're doubling your investment each time.
Yeah, it is pretty crazy, because I was speaking to somebody the other day who was interested in joining Honest FBA, and they were talking about they were getting into property, and the guy was saying, yeah, well, it'd be like a 20% ROI. And he was getting confused, like you said, he was getting confused between ROI and then profit margin.
Yeah.
And then when I explained to him, like, well, yeah, I mean, it's quite a big difference, especially when you annualize it as well.
Yeah.
When you annualize, like our latest product cost us about $5,000 in total to launch, and that product now is doing, I think, between $4,000 and $5,000 a month in profit. And so that's crazy. You know, that product will do, you know, $60,000 a year now, probably in profit, and it cost us $5,000 to launch it.
Yeah.
So, like, where else can you get that sort of investment return?
Is it subscribe and save, or have you not turned that on yet? But it's going to be a repeat purchase, isn't it?
It's going to be a repeat purchase, because the big thing, if you've listened to any of our stuff lately, we're pivoting our brand now. We're moving into selling consumable products. So we've got a pet brand basically, and we're going to be starting to sell like a range of like pet food, pet supplements, pet treats. And it's completely changed everything that we're doing, to be honest. Like, we're moving into testing some D2C stuff, some direct-to-consumer stuff. All of this stuff as well, we're going to be bringing into the community. So as we're doing all of this, and it's reignited my passion for our Amazon brand as well, because I'm not going to lie, after doing it for like 4 years, the past 6 months, I started to get a bit like, not bored of it. You know, it was always fun, but it was a bit like launching the products and then all of a sudden, yeah, and then all of a sudden, you know, we've got this new direction of what we're doing with the brand. We're sourcing products in the US now, which is really good. It's you know, we've still got the vast majority of our products are sourced in China, but we're sourcing some in the US now. I think we're going to go back to China maybe in the next few months as well, because we've got a big product that we're going to be launching, and we want to fly over, meet the suppliers, and get drunk with them, do some negotiations. But we want to, well, because this is going to be probably our biggest swing yet, and we can source it in the US, but we can also source it in China, and it'd be cheaper. So we want to start the negotiations before, and then sort of go over there and like finalize them, which is going to be fun. Yeah.
Awesome.
Should we crack on with some PR?
Absolutely. Let's get into it. Yeah.
Let's do it. Right. So if anybody has not got Helium 10, I don't know what the bonus code is that we got at the minute, Jan. What is it, like 30%, 40% off?
Yeah, we've got a 30% if you just use this link here, bit.ly/HonestH10. You get a 30% discount for the next few months. They usually do 20.
Nice.
So jump on that.
So basically, we start all of our product research in Blackbox. It's pretty simple. You fill in the filters, and then it throws out a load of products. So I'm just going to go through and tick a few of these. I'm going to go for baby. I'm actually going to look at some beauty and personal care stuff as well, because it throws out some interesting stuff sometimes.
Did you see that report, Al, that got shared in Honest FBA about the most profitable niches?
Was it by Jungle Scout?
I don't think it was Jungle Scout. I think it might have just been like a general econ one. It was quite interesting. It said, because you said beauty there and health and household, those were two of the most profitable categories. I think the least was electronics. And actually, really interestingly enough, the least profitable for a lot of brands at channel is TikTok. I don't know if that's really? Because we kind of got a high acquisition cost at the moment with paying all these influencers, but I thought that was quite interesting. But then the question on which channel are you going to prioritize the most in the next 12 months, that was TikTok as well. So there's obviously lot of focus on that, despite it being lower margin.
Yeah. I have a feeling that the whole TikTok, like they're gonna increase all the fees, and it's probably gonna change, isn't it, over the next 12 months or whatever. Right. If anybody sees anything that they want me to take a look at, otherwise I'm just gonna kind of scroll through and then see what catches my eye. Actually, I didn't put in. So in the filters, basically, I've picked a few different categories. I've put in minimum price of $25. Now, we have recommended to people before that you should shoot for products that are $40 above. Recently, we launched a product and it's at $20 and it's absolutely killing it. So I don't want to say anymore that you have to sell products over $40. I've never actually said you have to, but we've always recommended it. We have found it easier in general when stuff has been over $40. The main point is, what I would say is don't put a cap on the price, because a lot of people will put a cap at $45 because they'll think that they can't sell a product if it's $100, but it's just not true. So don't put a cap on the upper end, and just make sure when you're looking at your pricing in general that you're really taking a look at the FBA fees. That's really what counts. If your product is like $15 and your FBA fee is like $7, it doesn't leave much room for your cogs and your advertising and all that sort of stuff, which makes it difficult. What was the other thing that I wanted to change? I wanted to change the size, because I don't want to see a load of massive stuff, because with everything that's going on, shipping and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, especially with those new fees in the US.
Yeah. Yeah. Hotshot bed bug. All right, what is this? Bed bugs. Right. Okay.
What is that? Is that some sort of spray?
So, I'm not gonna lie, right? This used to be the sort of stuff. Right, that I used to want to steer that well away from. But I've kind of changed my tune over the last probably 6 months with stuff like this, because a lot of people will look at stuff like this and they'll immediately assume that because it's something that obviously is going to require approval, it's going to require some hoops to be jumped through in order to sell a product like this. But and I honestly would have said before, like, stay away from stuff. But honestly, I think actually look into this stuff now, because it might be relatively simple to get approval for stuff like this. And the beauty of stuff like this, again, that we've been talking about, this kind of like consumable type stuff, is this is the sort of stuff that people might buy more than once. So I wouldn't completely disregard it just because it looks like something that might need approval. But in general, the process that we take when we look at any of these products is we see the product on Helium 10. We come to the actual listing, and then what we want to be doing is we want to be finding the keywords that it ranks for, because we want to find the niche. We want to find the overall niche, and we don't just want to look at this like one individual product.
Yeah, and the reason that we want to do that is just so we can see that there's actually demand across more than one seller. Because the one situation you don't want to get into is you look at this and you go, sweet, they're doing 60K a month. I'm going to order the product. And then you later find that it's only those guys doing 60 because they've got a really well-known brand, or they've just got a lot of dominance in the niche, and everyone else is doing nothing. So always super important to find what the right keyword is so that you can see the lay of the land, and then have a look at who's selling, how much they're selling for, and so on. And then you can properly assess the niche. Yeah.
So basically what I've done there, is I've filtered for organic rank between number 1 and 12. You can put different numbers here. To be honest, I sometimes like to do it top 6 as well, because that really shows you what this specific product, which keywords this specific product is getting most of its sales from. But just to find the kind of main keyword, I'm going to do 1 to 15. And then I'm going to search by, and then I'm going to filter by search volume. So this is where you start to see these kind of like weird, almost sort of like keywords that show you what the niche is, right? So bed bug killer treatment, bed bug spray, flea bombs for home. So this is obviously a bit of a weird niche, right? And again, it's definitely a niche that historically I would have probably overlooked. I mean, why does it
like it's super, like, maybe it's like seasonal. If there's like breakouts due to the weather or something.
Yeah, what's that then? Around like that's in like the summer, isn't it? People must get
That's when people are out and about sharing bed bugs.
Yeah. Whenever I think of bed bugs, I just think of staying in hostels and like sweaty travelers, just giving everyone bed bugs. I mean, this is an interesting niche though, for sure.
I mean, and you can kind of see there though, can't you, that hot shot, there's already 3 there at the top. It seems like they've got 3 variations, isn't there?
Yeah. This is a really good example of a brand dominating a niche really, really well. So it's like what Jan just said there. You can see these 2 first sponsored placements is this brand called Hot Shot, and then this one is as well the top organic. You got them here again. Well, this is actually quite an interesting niche. It's like a bit weird, isn't it? But I would definitely look a bit further into this. One thing that I like to do is, I mean, it might actually be Amazon selling this.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I can see that.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
So that's always going to be difficult. Like if the top seller is Amazon, that's gonna make it difficult. It might be something related to pesticides that only certain companies can sell on Amazon. I'm sure I remember something to do with pesticides. Is it only US based companies can sell?
That's US. We don't have that in the UK.
Don't have that in the UK. All right, but I mean, it's still an interesting niche. Like the whole pest control niche is something that's quite interesting because you get products like this, and this is one of the good things about. And they've obviously not updated their hero image since Christmas.
That is weak.
But just by going on, then you end up seeing stuff like this, right? Which is like these weird sort of lights for like catching.
It's like I think it's like sticky tape, I think, and you've got a light in there to attract them. It's pretty rancid.
So this is a completely different niche, but so this is a flea light trap indoor. I'm going to click on the keywords again, and I'm going to try and find like what the main niche is for this. Well, this is kind of the beauty of starting with Helium-10. So you start in Blackbox, you pick one of these, and then before you know it, you're just down the rabbit hole looking at these random products. So like, yeah. Because this is one that I found before, like a filled dog bone with one image, and it's doing $17,000 a month.
Is it? Jeez.
Yeah, it's just got one image. I don't know whether it's a popular brand that people are looking at, but this is something that came up before. All right, so let's have a look at the keywords for this one. If anyone's got any questions, obviously just shout them out as we go. I saw Mickey Woodley as well. Didn't you do 300K a month before? Yeah. So our brand is seasonal, right? So in the winter, our brand sort of dies off. So when we get into April, May, we probably should peak and get back up to probably about 250K. But basically we have this huge spike in like the spring and summer, and then it dies off in the winter. And to be honest, it's one of the things that one of the downsides to our niche and our brand. But it's one thing that we're working on in 2024. We want to launch products that have got demand in winter as well. Because in the winter we can drop down to 50-60K a month, but then in the spring and summer it can boom up towards that 300,000 mark, which is what we were doing in the summer last year.
Parmee's asking, didn't we say just look at passion products? We've definitely kind of said, sometimes those type of products are easier for you to brand and to kind of appeal to customers that don't just want to buy the cheapest, but you can sell anything. Like one product that we looked at with Honest FBA members last week.
I've read your mind.
Is what?
I've read your mind here.
Have you? Yeah. There you go. It's beast bags. So it's bin bags that these guys have just made super sexy, not sexy, but stands out a million miles. It's got a USP of being super strong. They've done an awesome job of branding, and look how boring that niche is. And people are buying them hand over fist, even though you can get standard bags for cheaper, because they've found an angle which is super strong bags, and then they've done the branding amazingly well. So yeah, that was kind of just our little piece of guidance before, but yeah, by all means you can consider anything. Holy Viral saying, what would you guys say about selling stuff that's £5 even if you can buy it for £1 or less? So the risk there is that your Amazon FBA fees are going to make up a high proportion of your sales price. So if Amazon does introduce a new fee, or they increase the FBA fees, which they do every year, then that margin is going to get squeezed really tightly. And in addition to that, PPC you know, if you're used to paying, say, 50p or 50 cent a click for your best keywords, and that's giving you enough profitability, what are you going to do if all of a sudden towards Prime Day or when a bunch of new competitors come in and that PPC bid doubles, all of a sudden your margin's completely wiped. So you just don't have much flexibility. And that's why when Alex was saying earlier, look for products that are, you know, $40, $30 above. The FBA fees and PPC make up a smaller proportion of your sales price there. So it's just riskier, basically, if you go for the super low ticket stuff.
Yeah, it definitely is. Yeah. And so this is again is that weird niche with the flea traps. A good thing that you can do with Helium 10 is you can click on this search volume bit here, and that's what I was looking at before, and you can see how it peaks in like the in the spring and summer. But this is something that you should check for all of the products that you're looking at to make sure that you've got a good healthy demand all year round. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to look at the overall sort of, so this is the main keyword, flea traps for inside your home. So I want to kind of see, look how many sponsored results there are. That's nuts. There's only 3 organic. So what I want to do is I want to filter out these sponsored ones, and then I'm just going to kind of have a look. So this niche is not absolutely massive. It's going to get bigger in the summer. So this is one thing that you need to consider is when you launch a product, if you know that product has got a massive demand in the summer, you've got to base all of your numbers on when your product is going to get to market. You don't want to base your numbers just on right now, because if you order this product now and it takes 2-3 months to arrive at Amazon, then by that time, this demand is going to go through the roof. So if we have a look at the sales for this one, you can see it's starting to peak now. But at the peak in the summer in 2023, and it was doing, you know, nearly 200 a day. So if you launch if you buy your product here and you place an order here, and then when it arrives, it peaks and goes to this, then you need to make sure that you're ordering your stock levels in the right way. But I think this is quite an interesting niche because you've got a couple of different sort of designs. This is the sort of product that I would suspect has got a patent on it. This one here. So whenever you're doing your product research, regardless, you should always check with stuff like this that it doesn't have a patent. Now, a way that you can do that is by either going to the US patent website and just searching for it, or you can hire someone on something like Fiverr, and they'll do the research for you and give you a report. Can you all hear my dog barking in the background?
Yeah, he wants to get on the live, mate.
Yeah, he's probably got fleas. Right, I'm going to head back to Cerebro and have a look at some other stuff. But that was a bit of an interesting one.
Yeah, and just whilst you're looking at that, let's just have a quick look through the questions. So, Nahom, Adam, got a product they want to sell between $90 and $110, but FBA fees are $35. It's really difficult to be able to tell you if you should stay away from that because we don't know like the demand of the niche, we don't know the cost that you're getting it for, and so on. My advice is download the Helium 10 profit calculator, which you can get. I think it's in the description of all of our videos, the FBA toolkit. Download that, run it through, and if you kind of see that your ROI is going to be higher than 80% after ads, and your profit margin is going to be higher than 30% before ads, it's still worth kind of considering. But yeah, like I say, it's kind of tricky to be able to give you a proper answer there without all that other info. So this is a good one. Let's just quickly do this before we crack on, because I think Alex, you got like quite a good view on this. So what are our thoughts on the AMZ inbound placement fees, which for those of you watching that haven't really come across that before, in the US, Amazon's introduced a new fee where you can send your products to a single fulfillment center and then they will distribute them. Now, normally, historically, they did that for you for free, sent them across all the different fulfillment centers, so you got prime delivery next day. But now Amazon's thought, hang on, we can charge sellers for that. So they've announced these new fees and they brought them in this week, which has caused quite a bit of drama because they're quite pricey. Now, me, Alex, and Tom were chatting about this, and our view was kind of, well, everybody's impacted by these fees. The Chinese, the US, doesn't matter where you're from. So we think that given that they are quite they are quite expensive in a number of different cases. Prices are going to have to raise. I think the person that may lose out of this at the end of the day is going to be Amazon, because Amazon's known, pretty much across all different customers, that it's a place to go for cheap prices. But if everyone's going to start increasing their prices now because of this, they might go elsewhere.
Yeah. I mean, there's been a lot of talk of like there being pressure from like the SEC as well. I think about putting pressure on them. I think it's the first sort of big update I've seen from Amazon where it's the one where I've seen the most like backlash and people pushback on it. So hopefully it gets kind of reversed or whatever. But yeah, I mean, at some point everybody just has to increase their prices, don't they? If it does affect people's margins in that way. But I did a post on Twitter the other day where I was talking about it, where it's like you've got to kind of assume that bad stuff is going to happen at some point, and you've got to kind of always be trying to stay one step ahead of the game. So I think if you're running a business where your margins are really low, then you should anticipate that like perhaps that could get even worse. And then what can you do, in order to kind of mitigate against that? And that's like what we've done with our brand now, is we're moving into higher margin repeat purchase products instead of just selling, the traditional stuff that people just buy once. So that's one way that we're doing it. We're building our brand off of Amazon now. We're building a community around the product. So all of these different things that I think, you need to be kind of trying to stay one step ahead of. And then when these things come up, which seem a bit shit at the time, you're always one step ahead of it. Or at least you're close to being. So yeah, I mean, it's the same for everybody, isn't it? It's not like it's only affecting some people and not everybody. But also, pretty much every platform, like there's been big news in like the SEO world this week with Google banning a load of websites, and pretty much everything that you do online at some point there's going to be news that's like not that great. So yeah, it's just onwards and upwards, isn't it? Business as usual.
Business as usual, exactly, mate.
So Ash asked a good question. How do you stand out in a supplement niche? I understand gummies are really popular recently, but how would you stand out? So gummies are really popular. I think what I would be trying to do if I was going to be trying to launch some sort of gummy is I would be like really, really niching down. So I wouldn't be trying to launch gummies in like all of the most popular niches. But the way that you're going to be able to stand out with any of these types of products is really with proper branding. When you start to sell these products, it's where it really changes from just being an Amazon product into being an actual Amazon brand. Because like most of the products that you see on Amazon, like if you just go through, if you go through Helium 10 and you just look at, you just pull out random products here, right? Let's just pull out this one, fabric cubes, right? This is probably just a private label seller. They probably sell a bunch of stuff like this, but it's probably not really a brand, right? I mean, the name of the brand is Sell Below Cost. Well, that's the business name, right? I mean, it's based in the US, but this is more than likely is just a general store with somebody just selling, random stuff. So they're selling stuff like this, these cubes, all this sort of stuff, right? So you could argue really that this isn't really a brand. Like in my opinion, a brand is something where you're kind of synonymous with a certain category or a certain niche, and your customers return because they love your brand. They love you. But most people that buy these sorts of products, they don't really understand who they're buying it from. They just think they're buying it from Amazon. Like if my mum bought these, she wouldn't know probably that they're buying it from Sorbus. She'd just
say Sorbus are absolutely class, would she?
Yeah. She wouldn't be like, and if she did recommend it down the playground at school or something, she'd just say, oh, I got it off Amazon.
Yeah.
Most of the time, you don't really remember. So if you want to launch a brand like a supplements brand, the way that you need to do that is actually building a proper brand. And the way you build a proper brand is by building communities, is by, having like loyal customers that come back to you. Let me show you a really good example. This is a brand that I saw recently, and it's a brand by Kourtney Kardashian. So if Jansen pretends he don't know who that is, I'm going to be
never heard of that.
So this is a brand, right? And I think the brand name is absolutely incredible. I don't know whether she came up with it or whether she just stuck her face on it, but it's a supplements brand. So it's called Lemmy, but then they've got Lemmy Sleep, Lemmy Burn, Lemmy Pearl, Lemmy Chill, Lemmy Focus. It's so clever how they've used the brand name to kind of all these different use cases. But these guys, I think they had the number one selling fat burner, which is a supplement. I think it was the number one best selling supplement on Amazon for a while, for a few weeks. And they had something like they had a tiny amount of reviews. So the way that they did that is because obviously Kourtney Kardashian helps, but people are directly searching for the brand name. So like when you search on here, Lemmy, you'll see that there's tons of people searching for these products every single month. Now you might be thinking like, well, how do I do that as a beginner, right? But that's where you start, where you need to be doing things off of Amazon. So another good example is a brand called Obvi. So these guys have got a supplements brand. One of their best-selling products is this Obvi Burn Elite. This recently became, I think, one of the top-selling weight loss sort of products on Amazon recently. I think it was this one here. And the way that they did that again is they've built a community so they've got a huge community of people that buy their products. So every single month, they've got people actually searching for their brand name. The other ways, obviously, that they stand out is like with really great branding, really great visual branding, which is basically a given now. Like you need to do that with every single product that you launch. But really, if you're looking to come into these supplement niches and stand out, you need to be doing a little bit more than just launching those products on Amazon, in my opinion. You need to be doing Facebook ads. You need to be doing TikTok ads. You need to be doing TikTok influencer stuff. And it all might sound a little bit daunting as a beginner, but let me give you a piece of advice. Just start doing it in small amounts. And over time, that sort of stuff will become easier and easier and easier. Even because everything in the beginning sounds crazy and super, super difficult. Like just selling on Amazon, when I first started, it felt impossible. So all of this stuff, you don't need to do day one, but that was a very, very long-winded answer to tell you that if you want to stand out with supplements, you need to.
I've forgotten the question now.
He was asking how do you launch a supplements brand and stand out with supplements?
Yeah. No, very, very good answer. Were you looking at this niche anyway, Al, or should we just kind of flick through the questions? You're just conscious of time. We've probably got about 10 minutes or so. Did you want to look at another niche?
I think there's more questions that I'll just.
I can just flick through some of the questions here. So Naomi, how accurate are the suggested bids? Yeah, I would probably not rely on those beyond your very first stage of product research. Like the only way to accurately tell what the bids are going to be is when you actually list your product and kind of and check. Because if you do a test listing, then the bids that you're showing are still not going to be accurate because Amazon doesn't know what it is that you're selling. And the bids change over time too, remember, like as your conversion improves, as your visibility improves and so on, like the way that Amazon calculates the suggested bid and so on is going to change. To be honest, I would probably just kind of go based off the assumption that your ACOS is going to be around the 30% mark and your TACOs, so your ad costs, like as a proportion of total sales, is going to be between 12 and 15%. I think that is probably the more sensible approach, unless you're selling supplements or something, in which case your ACOS is going to be quite high, but you're relying on those repeat customers to come back, which don't have an ad cost. So that's that one. Mr. Fogg, welcome, the Fogmeister General. I hope you're going to be on the live session later, mate. I found a product that I can over time bring out more products and create a sports brand. What steps would you take with other products that could be within my brand? Way too big. What?
I found a product that I can over time more products and create a sport. What steps would you take with other products that? It's the last bit that's
the last bit. I don't know if he.
Can you rephrase that, Matt?
He's got a follow-up here. He's put fighting reflex balls. What do you? Oh, that's just a different question.
Yeah. Let's have a look at fighting. I think I've seen these. It's where you attach it to your head, right? Okay. So I mean, the key with any of this stuff, right, is does it make sense from an economic standpoint? So basically, can you get it at the right price where you can sell it at the right price? One of the things with these sorts of niches is you'll see there's products that are like $9.99, $8.99. I mean, you can see this one is the top seller, right? So about $20. So what you would need to see, it looks like most of these are around 17 to about $20. There's not really many that are too expensive. What you really need to do is you need to look at the top sellers, and then you need to understand, can you realistically compete against these guys? So like, this is the top seller for this keyword, and the branding isn't amazing. It doesn't look incredible, but it doesn't look too bad. Like, if I was a consumer and I was looking at this, I'd be like, it's got a lot of good reviews, a pretty good price. Like, it's a bit of a no-brainer price. So really, when you're asking yourself, can you compete against these guys? Like, you're going to have to see, well, how much can you source this product for? It's probably going to be difficult to source this product and compete at this price, but I don't know that for a fact. But let's imagine that you can make this work if you sell it for, let's say, $22.99. Then you've got to dive into the reviews and understand, well, what is it that people are, sort of complaining about? Is there anything that I can improve with it? So I would look at the 1-star reviews and just kind of tied the string exactly. Horrible product. Don't waste it. It's literally a ball. Okay. Ball bounced around too much. Uh-oh, someone's caught a shiner there. Waste the money. So really what you need to do is you need to understand, like, what do people not like about this product, right? And then can you bring something that's better? Because really all it takes for a product to succeed is a good price, a good product, and then good branding and good execution, right? If you tick all of those boxes, then you can do well. So it's difficult for me to say whether or not I could make this product work, because I would need to look at the prices on Alibaba. I would need to understand how much it's going to cost. I would really need to dive into the reviews. I'd need to start thinking, okay, like, what can I improve? Is there a way that I can, do this a bit better? The thing about this type of product is there's probably some ways that you can really stand out visually. They all seem to look the same, which in my opinion is good. Like, I like it when they all look very similar. Like, they all use this sort of cheesy Photoshop, like it all just looks a bit cheap, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. So hopefully, Matt, that answered your question. If not, we can dive into it a bit deeper on our live session in 20 minutes. Broken Troop, don't worry, my friend. I have not forgotten about you. What are all the websites you use for product research other than Helium 10? Alex is a big fan of Exploding Topic. It's Exploding Topics, isn't it?
Yeah, Exploding
so that's
Topics.
Something that we did a live on a couple of weeks back, and which you can also find a YouTube video on. So we like to use that. Another method is simply just kind of browsing the different subcategories on Amazon. But I mean, to be honest, as Alex said a moment ago, the most effective way to start product research is with Helium 10 Blackbox. You use that to find a niche that's got demand, and then from there, it's like a stepping stone to other niches, other areas of interest, and so on. But this Exploding Topics is pretty good. But what we did find is that I wouldn't know what proportion, maybe 60% were products that are like more suitable for drop shipping. They're like trending, probably going to die out quite quickly, but there definitely are gems in there.
Yeah.
So Mario's saying, what about non-perishable foods? Is that like what is a non-perishable food? Is it like a tin of beans?
Is pasta perishable?
Yeah, I think pasta is. Yeah.
No, but like
dry
pasta.
It's tinned, isn't it, or vacuum sealed?
Yeah, but like tin pasta. Hula hoop, what are they called? Yeah, I mean, what is a non-perishable food? What's an example?
Something? I mean, yeah, if there's demand, I don't see why not.
Yeah. If you're, if you think there's going to be like another world war and people are going to be stocking up their bunkers.
So this is a good one, Thomas Smallwood. to create an Amazon brand, how quickly would you recommend launching your second product versus just restocking your first? Yeah, it's a good one. I mean, you don't want to hamper your brand's success by launching your second product too quickly and then running out of your first. My view is, you know, you're building a long-term sustainable brand, so you want to make sure that you've got your first one running comfortably before looking at a second. So, you know, if you've launched your product and you're hitting 20K a month and everyone else is doing 50K, I'd still be focusing on getting to that 50K mark.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've got a different opinion there, Alex, but
No, 100%. Yeah, like you want to squeeze everything you can and get that first product.
yeah, 'cause you've done all the work, haven't you?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so last question, and then we'll have to switch over to the Honest FBA sesh. We've got Anonymous. Would you avoid a product if the niche is dominated entirely by Chinese?
That's difficult to find one that's not. I
It
mean,
depends to what extent, doesn't it? Really, like the massage gun niche, that's you know going to be really difficult to get into. But again, yeah, it depends, doesn't it, on the level of demand, whether you can afford to compete with these guys.
yeah, yeah. I mean, pretty much every niche that you look at, you know, there's gonna be Chinese sellers. So it's inevitable that, you know, you're gonna be competing against them. You've just got to do everything you can to stand out. You know, like still a lot of the Chinese have got terrible branding and stuff like that. You know, they're not doing the influencer stuff. They're not doing the off Amazon marketing. So there's a lot of ways that you can gain advantages against them. Again, one reason we're looking at you know, finding products in the US, which is working out nicely, is that's another advantage against Chinese sellers as well. But, you know, it can still be done. It can still be done.
Good. So we are going to have to call it a night at the moment. I hope you've enjoyed it, guys. If you you know, would like to see more of these sessions or us cover anything else, just let us know in the comments. Alex likes to go through and read them at like 3 a.m. when he can't sleep. So make sure you do that. And for those of you that are in Honest FBA, don't forget we've got a live session now in 15 minutes where we're going to be diving into some tips and tricks to do with hiring people to do product research for you. Thank you very much, guys. Hope you've enjoyed it.
Peace.